Hi Shirley, this is Hunter. I just got your email. Let's see what your problem was. So you're having problems on number 11 and 12. So let's just look at number 11 and 12 really quick. So here's number 11. It says perform the indicated operations and simplify. Alright, so you have to distribute that radical x here into that expression. So let me open something to write on. So it's the square root of x, and these red numbers are randomized, so you might have another number here instead of 3, but it should work the same way. So what we're going to do is multiply this in, like this. Okay, so let's see what happens after we do that. So that will give us 3 times x to the, okay, let's just look and see what happens. What is the square root of x times x? I know there's a 3 here also, but let's ignore that for a second. This is the same thing as x to the 1/2 times x, which is x to the 1. And when you multiply two things times each other, and it's the same number down here, but the exponents differ, what you do is you add the exponents. So this is x to the 1/2 plus 1, and that's the same thing as x to the 3/2. Okay, so when this x comes in here this first time, we do this one, what happens is we get 3 times x to the 3/2 for that reason. Okay, and when it hits here I just have minus x to the 3/2. Or wait, what happens here? Okay, so now, sorry, we've got the square root of x and it's being multiplied times the square root of x. So that's going to be the square root of x squared, which is just x. Okay, so now this is equal to that. Alright, and it says simplify. So how are we supposed to simplify that? I'm not really sure. Let's type in what I've just come up with and see what WebAssign thinks about that. Okay, so I ended up getting 3 times x to the 3/2, and then there was over here minus x. Okay, so I'm done here, so let's see what they think about that. Yes, I don't see how that's any simpler, but that seems to be the answer that they want. Okay, so I imagine it's going to be a similar trick here for number 12. So let me just take a look at number 12. Alright, so number 12 is 2, let me make some space. So number 12 is 2 times x to the 3/2 times 5 times the square root of x minus 6 over the square root of x. Alright. Okay, so it's kind of the same trick, right? So let's think about what's going to happen when I multiply this 2x to the 3/2 in to hit this part. Okay, it's going to come in both places, but let's just deal with the first one first. Alright, so the 2 and the 5 are going to hit each other and make 10. Alright, and now this is x to the 3/2 and this is x to the 1/2, so when those hit each other their exponents are going to combine, and I'm going to have 3/2 plus 1/2. So what is that? That's going to be 4/2. So 4/2 is 4 over 2. That's just the same thing as 2, right? Because 4 divided by 2 is 2. So this is x squared, and that actually is a little simpler for once. Alright, okay. And we'll put off dealing with this second part. We'll just do something like the 2 and the 6 hit each other and make 12, and now I've got x to the 3/2 over the square root of x. Alright, so now our distribution is done, but we can still simplify this second part. Okay, so when you have like a to the b over a to the c, the rule is this is equal to a to the b minus c. Okay, so just like when you multiply two things, the exponents add. If you divide, then they subtract, and so it's the bottom one subtracted from the top one. So let's use that trick here. Okay, so that's going to give us 10x squared minus 12, whoops, I need to erase that part. Okay, minus 12 And what's going on with this, I'm gonna have x to the 3 halves minus 1 half. So 3 halves minus 1 half is just 1. So x to the 1 is x, and so that's the answer there. Alright, so let's give that answer a try. So it was 10 times x squared, if I can get the thing to come down, minus 12x, I believe. Okay, so is that what it was? Yes. Alright, so what do you think about that, WebAssign? It likes it. It likes it. Okay, so that's 2 down. And what else? Alright, so 15 and 17. So what is 15? No, that's the wrong thing. What is number 15? And how much time have I used up? I've used up, 362 seconds already. Okay. I'm so forgetful. Number 15. Okay, number 15. So come down, and it says the given equation is either linear or equivalent to a linear equation. Solve the equation. Alright. And I'm embarrassed to say that I lost my pen. Okay, here it is. So we're just supposed to solve this equation. Whoops. So let me copy it down. So the equation is 1/2 y minus 7 is equal to 1/3 y. Okay, so we're solving a linear equation. When you're solving any equation, the strategy is to get the variables collected, or we want to collect, that's terrible grammar, but we want to collect the y's. So what I'm going to do is put the y's on the same side of the equal sign, and I'm going to put everything else on the other side. So I'm going to bring this over, and I'm going to take this 7 over. Okay, so first thing, I'm going to do this thing first. Alright, so I've got 1/2 y, and now to get this one over to the other side, I do minus 1/3 y. Alright, and to put this 7, this second thing is to put 7 over on the other side. So I do that by adding 7 to both sides, and that puts 7 here. Okay, and now what I have to do is factor out the y that these two terms have in common. Alright, so when I factor that y out, I get y. Okay, so they both have y in common, right? And what's left in this first part is 1/2, and what's left in the second part is 1/3. Alright, so this whole thing is equal to 7. Okay, and so these are just numbers, right? So what is that? That's just a number. So I can put it over the common denominator 6. So this is y times 3/6 minus 2/6. So that's 1/6 in disguise, right? 3/6 minus 2/6 is just 1/6. So this whole thing is y over, well, okay, I should slow down maybe, okay? So y times 1/6 is equal to 7. So now all I have to do, I want to get y by itself. That's how you finally solve the equation. So I just multiply both sides by 6, and it kills this fraction, and 6 times 7 is 42. So let's see what it thinks about 42. And while it's thinking, is it done already? It liked it. Okay. 15, 17, and 18. 17. Okay, so solve another equation. Alright, so this time we have to use a different algebraic trick. So there's something, people forget that you can, what I'm going to do is use this rule. You can split fractions apart like this. Okay, so that's a useful algebraic rule, and I plan to use it on this part, the x plus 1/7. So let me rewrite the question. I've got 4x minus x over 4 plus x plus 1, that's what I'm going to break up, over 7 is equal to 8x. So we're going to have to collect all these x's just like we got all the y's together so we could factor them out